Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this segment of Street Talk Baltimore Video Magazine. I'm here with Professor Erika K. She's a clinical fellow at the UB Civil Advocacy Clinic. She was also litigation associate at Howard and Porter law firm in LA as well as DC. She was a George N. Lindsay Fellow in 2005-2006. She got her degree cum laude from USC in 2000, and her Juris Doctor from the UCLA School of Law in 2003. And I just want to say I'm honored to have her on this segment of the show, and I'll turn it over to her after I ask her to expand on her statement in Aaron Sullivan's article in the city paper, Net Loss. And she was stated as saying the problem is there are regulations and there are rules, but there's no real enforcement of those rules. And what that statement was regarding was the current situation with the Department of Social Services and the current economic climate. Professor Woods.
Thank you for your very generous comments. So essentially, my comments in the city paper article by Ms. Sullivan were related to the process for the Department of Social Services to process public benefit applications, mainly temporary cash assistance and food stamp applications. And so, as we all know, in the current economic situation that we're in, the number of applications has risen exponentially, and there are a lot of people who are in need who probably may not have been in need before. So there are a multitude of problems, but the primary one that I focused on with my comments in the article are that the Department of Social Services has 30 days to process one's application and to respond and to issue a response. But that does not always happen. As the article alluded to, there is a potential class action lawsuit, in fact, challenging the fact that applications are often delayed beyond the 30-day period, and individuals can have to wait months to actually receive a response or begin receiving benefits. And so the ironic part about that is in order for an individual to receive public benefits, there are definite rules that must be followed in terms of the application process, participating, for example, in a works program if they're seeking temporary cash assistance. And if they don't comply with those rules, then they are promptly cut off of any benefits that they are receiving. The flip side of that is that DSS is supposed to process applications within the 30 days, but that doesn't always happen. And for a multitude of reasons, I'm sure, as the volume of applications has risen, it might not be the easiest thing, giving staffing to respond within 30 days, but it's also an unfortunate situation for the clients that we see who are anxiously awaiting an answer on their application, and this may be their only source of income. So those are the rules that I alluded to, and in terms of the enforcement of that rule, the primary way that people enforce that rule is to file an appeal once the application isn't processed within 30 days. I suppose I should back up a step. Usually when the application is not processed within the 30 days, then the client might receive a letter stating that the application has been delayed due to an unavoidable agency delay. And then at that point we filed appeals on behalf of clients. And so the appeal process itself can take a while. So it can come to be that a client files, for example, an application in May and doesn't start receiving benefits until August, maybe. So the enforcement would be to file an appeal and try and go before an administrative law judge, and sometimes you're successful, sometimes you're not successful. So the real unfortunate part is for individuals who don't have legal representation to engage in the enforcement process, and who are left to deal with the system or with DSS on their own, which can be problematic without knowing what their rights are and what the rules and regulations are.
Okay, so basically, the consumer, the public, is a victim of the fine print.
So to speak, like I said earlier, though, I think that it is somewhat complicated, and I wouldn't want to demonize the DSS workers who are working as hard as they possibly can, especially in this economic climate with the rise in applications. But it is true that the individual who finds himself in a position where they need to apply for these benefits can be in a tough situation, as the article discussed in depth. It's not an easy process, putting aside the economic climate before we hit this downturn. The process is tedious. You have to go fill out the application. There are requirements like the work program requirements that have to be fulfilled before you can receive benefits, so it's a long process. So if you are the individual who complies with all the requirements and then at the end of it, you're still told there's a delay and we won't be able to give you your benefits, or it can be definitely frustrating, particularly if you don't know what the remedy is to get your application processed and to get the benefits that you are seeking.